Just a little PSA for the girls out there. If you're not on your local Are We Dating the Same Guy page on Facebook, why not? Why not? I don't care if you're single. I don't care if you're married. I don't care. There's so much tea on there. I read stuff about strangers. I don't even know these people, but I'm there for it all. I'm reading it. I'm looking everybody up. I'm shook. And then every now and then you see somebody you know and you're like, oh my God, that can't be real. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I don't have a life, but if you're ever bored at night and you're just scrolling through it, you don't have anything to look at, definitely join and check it out. Okay, that's all. Bye.
OMG, girl, for real? I mean, you go on this Facebook page and you find out that all of you are dating the same guy. This is like putting up wanted posters for all the Chads and Tyrones out there. You want to know what I find most amusing about all this? Women will go up on that Facebook page, share all this information about these guys that they've been dating, and use it with the intention as a type of shaming tactic against those men. But at no point does it dawn on any of these women they are admitting the stereotype that Chad and Tyrone are always the ones that are gonna win in the dating market. With putting up this Facebook page, the only thing that you ladies are doing is accomplishing what normal men have been seeing. You all always go for the top 10, 15, 20% of men and ignore the rest. I'm pretty sure that there are very few pictures of an average Joe up there. A guy who gets very few swipes. Why? Because all of you want to jump on the same sausage. Each taco wants a sour cream filling from the same source. And this just proves it. Sure, you could all talk amongst each other and say, oh yeah, I dated him too. Uh-huh. And I bet some of you wish that you could have retained Chad. Let's not beat around the bush here, ladies. All of you want that guy who has a lot of experience. If that wasn't true, you ladies would be only demanding virgins in your dating profiles. Before we move on, I want to bring attention to the fact that 79% of my viewers are not subscribed to my channel. Come on, fam. You've seen my logo on other channels, and you're already here. Please hit that subscribe button and support the channel. It really helps out. Moving on.
Everyone needs to go join their local Are We Dating the Same Guy? Listen, I'm happily married and I don't think he's with anyone else, but those comment sections, whew. The premise of the group used to be that you would post a picture of a guy that you just started dating to see if he was with anyone else. But the group has since morphed, so people will put up a picture and they will just have a T emoji question mark, red flag emoji question mark, and people just unleash. I'm in the comment section, just living for it. Someone posts a picture of a guy asking for T or red flags, and someone responds, yeah, that's Pylon. Pylon? Apparently this guy is called Pylon because it is shaped like a pylon. Listen, I live in a small town. I'm going to see that man around. And now I know that about him. Pylon, if you're seeing this, I'm sorry. Actually, you know what? There's way more red flags about you. I'm not sorry. Anyways, join your group, start a group. It's hours of entertainment. Especially if you're as nosy or as boring as I am.
No way! Wow, I gotta say, this Facebook group sounds like a watering hole for all kinds of female dating losers. She said that she's married, but she checked it out not because of her marriage. Uh-huh. I call cap on that one, sister. In fact, let me use that female shaming language. That was pure insecurity on your part. Another thing about talking about this one guy called Pylon, isn't it amazing how these queens are all about body positivity and acceptance, but said queens will start making fun of men? I wonder how these queens would react if all these men started putting up pictures of them without their makeup and sharing information about these girls saying, don't date this girl because she's got one boob higher than the other one. Hey, don't date this girl. She smells like she has backed up sewage in her plumbing. In reality, what she is doing is what all women do. When they take an L, they try to turn it into a W somehow. They get on that Facebook page after Chad pumps and dumps them. They try to find a way to turn it around and say it's all his fault. He is the problem, not her for giving it up. You may as well change the name of that Facebook group to the Tears of Chad/Tyrone's Smash Tacos. Moving on.
Are we dating the same guy? Are we dating the same guy? If you know, you know. But I just watched a video on here about another girl talking about that group. Are we dating the same guy? And I do have just a piece of advice for y'all. First of all, if you are in any of those groups, they're very useful. Sometimes I do feel like some of the girls is dragging it. Like, why are you posting about this guy if he didn't really do anything? Like, if a guy does something really bad, then yeah, you should let people know. But if he just ghosted you or something, or he didn't pay on a date, like, I don't feel like those are the type of things that should end up on that group. But anyway, if you're on one of those groups and you're like in Miami or you're in LA or New York, don't just be in the group in your city, okay? I'm in the Miami area now, so I'm in the Miami group, but I'm also in the New York group.
Who hurt you?
I'm going to start off by giving this Queen a little bit of credit here. She did say that women who post in those groups are post about ghosting or the guy not paying the bill. That's really not, shouldn't be there. That's more crime, whining, and moaning than anything else. Good on her. Applause. Now, before I start getting into her reaction, did anyone else notice that she's recording this video from the baby section in whatever store she's in? Methinks this gives off single mom vibes. Anyway, this also opens up the conversation for way too many single moms being in those groups. Not so much saying about, are we dating the same guy? More like, hey, are you going to be the next baby mama for my baby daddy? No shame in it, but be upfront about it. Again, Chads and Tyrones are the ones who win. The Pookies, the Ray Rays, the Ricos, the Yangs, the Abduls, regardless of the culture, those bad boys are always up. Now, you women say that you want to defend yourselves, this and that. In my opinion, the best way to defend yourself is to stop going after the same bad boys. Stop going after the super hot guys, especially if you know you're dating above your league. I mean, all your queens are, I deserve. They just stop for one moment to think, I'm getting set up? Of course not. The carousel calls.
Because New York and Miami, people are back and forth. And I can't tell you how many countless stories I have seen of girls in Miami dating a guy from New York who has a whole family in New York, a whole wife or girlfriend that he lives with, okay? Or the same in those New York groups, a guy who works in Miami and he's got a situation there. So I'm in Miami's, New York's, and Atlanta, because those are the cities that people are flying back and forth from here. So if you're in LA, make sure you're in that San Francisco group. Make sure you're in that San Diego group, okay? If you're in New York, make sure you're in the Philly group. Make sure you're in the Miami group. Make sure you're in the Atlanta group, okay? Look out for yourself. Join the groups. I don't follow every story because some of the things I read are absolutely terrifying. Makes you never even want to have a conversation with a man ever again. But anyway, make sure you do your due diligence and you're part of multiple groups, especially your sister city groups.
Are you pondering what I'm pondering?
All right, this is the part where this gorilla is going to do his public service of the day. Queens, listen up. Let me tell you why in these groups you're always talking about the same guys and why these Chads, Tyrones, Poogies, and Ray Rays always win. Sit down for this because this may be a shocker. It's because they don't give you what you ask for. They give you what you want to hear. All right, let me come at this from another angle. You say that you want honesty the whole time. If average Joe sits down and he gives you full frontal honesty, he tells you, hey, look, I make $55,000 a year. I'm averaging everything. I'm 5'9". I have an average build. I have average hobbies, and I just want a good life with you. You're gonna listen to that. You're gonna think, oh, well, I think I deserve more than that, even though you cannot offer the equivalent of that. Then Chad and Tyrone come around and they sell you the dream. They don't tell you honesty. They tell you the comforting lies you want to hear. Oh, they're super hot. They're super successful. They find you extremely attractive. You're the girl of their dreams. They want to give you whatever you desire. They are expert salesmen at getting you to give that taco down payment for the package deal. And then later on, your reaction is, OMG, I got bamboozled. He pounded my roast beef, then he bounced. You know, if women would use a little bit of common sense, this wouldn't happen to you. But then again, for all of you, fifis are more important than anything else, right? Moving on.
Part two of how the Are We Dating the Same Guy Facebook pages are going to save us all out in the wild. So I'm getting ready for my date. Communication has died down just a little bit because of the picture debacle. I'm a little turned off by him sending me a bunch of pictures, but I'm excited to meet him. We had a really good connection. I'm in Palm Springs for the day. I'm sitting by the pool and I'm perusing Facebook, as one does when they're sitting by the pool. And I go on one of these pages, Are We Dating the Same Guy Facebook pages, and I see his picture immediately. So, of course, my heart sinks. That's never happened to me before. I'm like, this is the guy that I'm most excited to go out with. Oh my God. So I click on the comments. There are like 25 comments, One of them that was the most compelling was a woman said that he has been on these pages for years. He continues to go off of apps and then go back on, like start new accounts so that women that have blocked him are now not blocked and he can start afresh with them. And he has actually picked up and like tried to go out with women that have blocked him in the past. He is notorious for sending pictures of himself. Some of the women actually posted the screenshots that he had sent them, or they had screenshotted the pictures that he had sent them and posted them on these pages. I'm telling you guys, thank God for women. Like this is just so great.
Does not compute. Does not compute. Does not compute.
You know, fam, I'm starting to believe that men should start doing Facebook pages about women and estimating body count. Put their pictures up there, saying, hey, I did this girl. I think her average body count is such and such. I wonder how long that would last before Facebook decides to shut that page down. This just sounds like one-sided garbage here. Question here, ladies. How sure are you that the guys that are being posted on these Facebook pages aren't as bad as these women are claiming? I mean, what if they went out with this girl just one time? It didn't work out. She was really interested in the guy. He was just like, listen, no, this isn't going to work out. Thanks, but no thanks. And he decides to dip out, and then she decides, oh, well, I'm going to ruin his dating chances because I don't want him to be happy if he's not with me. That is quite common in female nature. Women sabotaging other women's happiness? Not unheard of. I'm not saying that all the men here are victims. I'm saying that definitely you're going to get a mixed bag here between Chads and Tyrones who are out there just slaying every piece they come across and an average guy who went out with a woman who happened to be mental. Either way, this once again proves what men have been saying for the longest. Women are always going for the top tier guys. Now, she says that she's heartbroken. Why? Because the guy's an expert salesman. He sold her the dream, and she was on it. And now she found out, oh no, I'm going to be part of the roster. Oh, this is horrifying. Well, ladies, this may sound incredulous to all of you. These high-value men, these Chads, these Tyrones, have a roster. They're not going to settle down just with one woman. Why should they when there are a bunch of you are throwing yourselves at them? They're going to go out there and smash as many tacos as they can, and they're not going to care. The guy that she's talking about that does this over and over again, you know what that tells me? That tells me this guy actually has a very high success rate on these dating apps. That tells me that this guy's dating app kung fu is at mastery level. He probably could write a book on it. And guess what? Just because you decide, well, I'm not going to be with him because these women said this about him, you're not the only one, sister. He probably has another date lined up. He's probably expecting this. What do you think? Guys like that give up just because you women come up with a Facebook group? No! They adapt and overcome. He's a hunter. If the prey got a little bit smarter, he just changes his tactics. You know what doesn't change? You queens wanting to be sold the dream.
And the worst part of it was that a woman shared an experience she had where he had asked her out on a date to a really upscale restaurant, similar to the one he was taking me to. And as she was getting out of her car, he walked up next to the driver's side door and blocked her in that little crevice, like that little area between when you get out of your car and the door being open. And he stood in front of her, whipped out a certain appendage, if you know what I mean, and tried to get her to touch him. And she was so horrified that she immediately backed into her car, back in the driver's seat, pushed him out of the way, shut the door, and sped off. That was all that I needed to absolutely text him a brief text that I was no longer interested in going out with him, promptly blocked him. And a couple minutes later, I get a text from an unknown number, and it was him apologizing for anything he might have said to offend me and saying that he was really disappointed. He had clearly taken his child's phone or another cell phone that he had and texted me on my number because his main number was blocked. So y'all, I'm telling you, the Are We Dating the Same Guy Facebook pages are the most valuable thing that we have. Thank you to the women who stick together and help each other out. We have to weed through these type of guys.
Ho, ho! Fiction can be fun.
Wait a minute. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense here. Let me get this straight. This guy was going to take you to a high-end restaurant, and you said that another woman in this Facebook group said that he took her to a high-end restaurant similar to the one he was going to take you to, and in the parking spot, he pinned her down and whipped out his member in a public area for her to do something to him and she sped off? And then after the story and after you blocked him, he messaged you in a separate phone saying that he's sorry if he offended you in any way and he was disappointed? That doesn't make much sense. How does a guy who can afford a high-end restaurant decide to endanger himself at a parking lot with a woman he hasn't met to force her to do some kind of act? See, this is what I'm talking about. It's sus. And there was no evidence provided. This is borderline defamation of character here. It's a lot more believable to me that this is a high-end guy who went out with this woman. She wanted everything to continue with him, and he just decided, hey, listen, this isn't going to work out. Because if we apply just a smidgen of logic here, ladies, a guy who does that is most definitely going to have a criminal record for indecent exposure, for doing all kinds of things. He'd probably be on some sexual offender list. This is what I'm talking about, where women will just gossip. And if they can't have the guy they want, they'll try to ruin his reputation. Am I saying that I'm 100% sure that this guy is completely innocent of what these women are saying? No, but I'm also saying that he's not 100% guilty of what they're saying. Listen, all I'm saying is an extreme story like this one is going to require some kind of evidence, unless you believe that women never lie. But the takeaway here is this elderly queen taught herself out of a date from a guy who could afford a higher-end restaurant, all because of what some other woman said allegedly happened. I don't know. But you know what? I consider this a W for men. Want to know why? For a simple reason, ladies. If a guy is innocent and he gets accused of something and you get convinced off of someone else's word with no evidence that he is a bad guy and you run off, he dodged a bullet there. Because someone who believes something that atrocious with no evidence is also capable of believing any accusation down the road, even after they start a relationship. It's not like we didn't already have an M2 movement to prove how dangerous this can be.
Not sure I deserve that.
I'm just saying, if you enjoy this audit, click on the video in the end screen for more content. If you would like to support the channel, please follow the link in the description to donate to our beer fund, or like, subscribe, and share this video on other social media platforms. If you agree or disagree with anything about this audit, please let us know in the comments. I'm going to leave this audit right here. I'll see all of you in the next episode.